Hey, what's going on, people? What's going on? I was getting ready to make a video about the things that were pertaining to the previous videos that I just uploaded previously, but I have something that I want to say, okay? Because apparently people have been watching my videos, or someone has watched my video and shared it with multiple people or whatever. I need to say that I do not authorize people to use my podcast for anything other than what I had intended my podcast to be used for. Legally, I am not authorizing people to use my podcast for anything other than what the podcast was intended for. If I catch people using my podcast as scripts or means to be able to go out here and manipulate the facts, I will be using that information in court. Because like I said, my podcasts are pertaining to mental health and things of that nature. So people should not be using my podcast to manipulate the facts or twist or turn the things that have happened in real life. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm not going to go into the code of 107. We all know what the code of 107 is. We all know what that means. And to be very clear, I do not authorize organizations, groups, or companies or individual people to use my podcast for anything other than what I had intended the podcast for educational reasons. My podcast should not be used for construction. My podcast should not be used for obstruction. My podcast should not be used as a script. My podcast should not be used by organizations, groups, companies, or organizations without my consent. And this is the first and the last time that I'm going to tell people this. Okay? And I'm going to keep this video on here. So if we have to go to court, it will be known that I did let people know I do not authorize them to be using my podcast for anything other than what I had intended my podcast to be used for. Thank you. And also, these podcasts are not a means to try to manipulate the facts of the case that we're going to be going to court for. As I told you, the case is not even open yet. So whatever it is that people are doing, it's not really going to affect the case either way. But I'm going to make it very clear for the first and the last time, I do not authorize organizations, groups, individuals, or companies to use my podcast for anything other than what they were intended for. Thank you.